Hi, I'm Tom Alibrando with IWI. We're going to talk about the two generations of X95 bolt groups that you'll see out there nowadays. We'll discuss the older bolt group and how it comes apart just a little bit. Removing the bolt group from the X95, there's plenty of videos on how to remove the bolt group, so I'm not going to get into that so much. What I am going to do is show you the difference between the two bolt groups and how to disassemble the newer variant of the bolt group. Now, it changed not because of anything being wrong. It was just we had a 300 blackout bolt group and a 556 bolt group. What it came down to was it was ease of manufacturing. We could do one bolt group for both platforms. It just made things easier. So the older bolt group, if you look at it carefully, you'll see that the bar, the actual bolt rotation control bar, when everything is seated, has a thicker bar all the way almost at the base. If you pull it forward a little bit, it's got a really thin band. That's an indication that that's an older bolt group. And if you look at the piston itself, there's a slot cut into the piston, and you can actually see the spring. The newer version, with the bolt rotation control bar kind of all pushed forward, you'll notice it's thinner with a thicker band, right? The bar is almost thinner about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way forward, and then you could tell that that's different from the older variant. And additionally, you'll notice that the piston doesn't have a slot cut out in it. It's solid. So this is the new one. This is the one we've been using since 2020, roughly, about mid-2020. And when people get it, they see the older video where tearing down the bolt group, you would pop the bolt rotation control bar out just about 1/3 of an inch, and then you pulled it all the way back. And that allowed you to remove the bolt guide pin, right? So that's how you would start taking this apart. So you had to pull it all the way back and open this up. The newer bolt, you don't need to do that quite as much, but it has to pop out a lot further. And you'll notice when you get a brand new one, it's going to be hard to move. It takes about 7 or 10 times to tear the weapon down, where it gets a little bit easier to pop. So what you're going to do is you're going to get it as far back as possible, and this one's going to pop pretty easy because it's been done. And that's how far it has to come out. It's about 1.25 inches or so, but you'll feel it pop. And I don't have to pull back on it at all to tear it down. I just have to get the bar out of the way, and now I can hit the bolt guide pin and start taking the weapon apart. But let's say you have a brand new X95 with this new bolt rotation control bar. There's two techniques for popping this out because it's pretty stiff when you first get it out of the box and it's brand new. So one technique is to take the corner of it, put it on the corner of a table, push on it with basically 2 fingers, and then drive down on it till you feel it pop, okay? And that one already popped. Another technique, let me do a syringe and put it back in, is to put it bolt down. Now you got to make sure it doesn't slip off the table when you're doing this. And you're going to push down on the buffer itself like a TNT plunger, right? From Wile E. Coyote or something. Push down on it hard, and you're going to fight the recoil spring. So you're going to feel some resistance, but you push down until you feel it pop. And there you go. It pops out the back. And now the bolt group can disassemble. And it just comes apart like it normally would. Everything comes out the front of the bolt group, the bolt carrier itself, along with the firing pin spring and the firing pin. Okay guys, I'm going to reassemble the bolt group. We have a link below that will show you exactly how to do that in detail. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here because we've already covered it in other videos. But once you get the firing pin spring in, rotate it over, grab the bolt guide pin, kind of wiggle it in place. Once it's flat against the side and you can feel tension on there, you're going to press on to this. Now it's sitting out a lot further than the older one did, like a plunger, like a syringe almost. Push it back into place. Once it's assembled, you do a function test on this just like anything else. Like on the M4, you snap the bolt back and forth, close it and open it. This one, you go back and forth to make sure it tracks smoothly, and same thing, another TNT kind of deal. Back and forth, yep, it's working correctly. Now this is ready to go into the weapon. Thank you for joining us and discussing the new variant of the X95 bolt group.